on human rights, women, children's rights, governance, not just limited to local and national, but also the international level, also to military, police, legislative staff, students, NGOs, religious groups, teachers, and vulnerable groups. So to them, he is called Attorney RP, is my brad. Also, when I knew him first when I was in high school and he was fourth year in college, he was the one of the most heartthrob, sa UP before. Nung I was when I was in high school when you were in fourth year high school, fourth year college, and then he was known as one of the heartthrobs in our fraternity at the time. So ladies and gentlemen, let me call. May flag, hingi. Magagalit si Nina sa akin. Let me call a very renowned human rights lawyer as well, Attorney Ray Paulo Santiago.
Maraming salamat, Reg. Medyo inantok ako dun sa introduction. Di ko alam kung saan niya nakuha yung introduction, no? Pati ko na-bore, no? Wala ho akong clearance dun sa, I'm sorry, I'll say it in English. I was just saying that I had nothing to do with the introduction. I don't know where she dug up the introduction, because otherwise I would have just introduced myself as part of the Fair Justice Program. And I'm a full-time faculty member of the Ateneo Law School, currently teaching constitutional law and human rights. Okay. Is the presentation ready? Sige. When Reg asked me to speak on the topic of human rights and the Philippine Sea, I said yes because Reg is part of our UP Vanguard organization, and we wanted to support each other. And when I looked at the other panelists, they're all part of, well, most are part of UP Vanguard, no? So it just shows how, well, this is part of our advocacy for ROTC. And yes, I am a human rights advocate, just like all of you here, no? Kasi pag human rights advocate, hindi ibig sabihin nasa NGO ka lang, no? Lahat tayo ay human rights advocate. But at the same time, among human rights activists, parang sa Vanguard, linoloko nila ako, oh, bakit ka napasok sa human rights? Sabi ko, bakit naman hindi, no? Sa mga activists naman, bakit ka pro-ROTC? Ako naman, bakit naman hindi, no? So there is no contradiction between military service, uniformed service, law enforcement, and human rights. But when I said yes to Reg, it was also a challenge because I talk about human rights a lot. But this is going to be the first time that I'm going to talk about human rights and the sea. And I was even asking Reg up to yesterday, what are the issues, no? Because I wanted to prepare for any discussion. But just the same, saan ka ba ituturo tong clicker? Ayun. Hindi, parang pinindot ya, ayan. Parang, wait let me figure it out. Parang di. Is it working? Okay. Parang ayaw bumalik. Apologies. I just want to make sure that the clicker is pinipindot mo. May delay nga. Okay, I just want to go back to the last slide. No. Okay. For our objectives, this is going to be a 1-hour discussion. No? I hope that it is going to be a discussion part of what I wanted to find out when I prepare is who are the audience, no? And Reg told me that many of our audience are from the Philippine Coast Guard because this is in partnership with the Philippine Coast Guard. There are some who are with the Armed Forces of the Philippines, some from the National Bureau of Investigation. Meron na bang taga-NBI dito? Wala pa. Someone from the Department of Justice, meron na bang taga-DOJ dito? Wala pa rin. Okay. So it's going to be an overview to reflect on the concept of human rights and to understand how human rights apply at sea. Okay. What are human rights? No? What are human rights? When we go into the definition, next please. Human rights are the fundamental rights and freedoms that belong to every person in the world from birth until death. These rights are inherent to all human beings, regardless of nationality, sex, national or ethnic origin, color, religion, language, or any other status. Okay, and this is where at times it becomes boring. I usually have a video when I give lectures, but here I don't want to, I don't have that much time. And this is not a good time, no? Tinitignan ko kayo, nagbi-beautiful eyes sa akin. May ganito rin ba kayo? Okay. Naaalala ko tuloy yung pag nakakakita akong mga uniforme, lumalabas yung pagkaano natin. Coops natin at times. Hindi. Okay, friendly tayo, human rights ang topic, no? So, when we talk about this, oftentimes, no, real talk tayo, pag sinabing human rights, many people don't understand what human rights are. They will say, human rights, alam ko yan. No? But you actually fail to understand what it really means. No? When we say fundamental freedoms, no? Fundamental rights and freedoms, fundamental. No? It means it is really important and necessary. Fundamental eh. Kaya nga may mga lecture kayo on fundamental. Right? So why is it fundamental? Reg, pwede bang ano dito? Discussion? Pwede magtawag? Ayun! Okay. Who can give me a fundamental right around here? Sige nga. Tignan natin kung ano ang tingin nyo. From this table, can you give me a fundamental right from this table? Ha? Right to privacy. No? Right to privacy. Right to privacy is a fundamental right. No? Right to privacy, totoo yan. No? Why is right to privacy a fundamental right? No? Because there are things that we don't want the public to know. Diba? There are things that we would want to keep it to ourselves, and right to privacy also includes the right not to be bothered. Diba? Minsan, ayaw lang nating pakialaman tayo. That is privacy. No? Hindi lang yung mga registration ng privacy. Good answer. From this table. Right to data protection, privacy rin, no? Right to data protection. So right now, what are your personal details? Name, address, your family details, no? These are part of data protection. From this table. Right to life. Oo, because if we don't have our life, then no other rights, no, will be possible. But at the same time, when we talk about right to life, you are here right now in a hotel eating good food in an air-conditioned place. What about those who are living in the slum areas? How about those who are unemployed? Those who are homeless? they are alive. 'Di ba? Ilan kaya sa kanila yung gustong mamatay na? Dahil hindi na nila kaya yung buhay. You can see, well, meron nga tayong, I won't be political about this, no? But remember, someone even said, no? High government official, buti nga buhay pa kayo. 'Di ba? Don't jump into conclusions that I am political in terms of, ay, ayoko si yung leader na yon. Hindi ganon, no? I'm just pointing out that when we say these things, no, just because you are alive doesn't mean that your right to life is satisfied. We also talk about quality of life. 'Di ba? Quality of life. And like for example, if I ask many of you here, why are you with the uniformed service? Why are you with the uniformed service? No? Because it's an opportunity for many of you would say, aside from serving the country, it's an opportunity to provide for our families. Tama ba? 'Di ba? Okay. And I go into part of rights is to be able to earn, no? To be able to earn. Earning is part of our human rights, no? That's what you call economic right. Okay? So when we talk of fundamental rights and freedoms, later on you'll find out human rights are not just about what you call civil and political rights. Okay? I emphasize this as early as now because some people would like to couch human rights as simply rights of criminals, which is very wrong. No? I want you to understand that everything that you do is about human rights. Everything. Okay? So when we talk of human rights, these are fundamental freedoms that are available to every person because every person presumably is a human being, 'di ba? Tama ba? Sino bang hindi human being dito? Wala naman. Okay. It is inherent to all. What do you mean inherent? Just because we are human beings, we already have it. 'Di ba? Lahat tayo pantay-pantay ang karapatan pag sinabing human right. Hindi ba tayo pantay-pantay sa karapatan? Are we not the same of the same rights? The reality is there is a lot of inequality, no? And inequality is constant. 'Di ba? Merong mas may kaya kaysa sa atin. Merong may mas mahirap kaysa sa atin, no? Merong may mas magandang lalaki o babae kaysa sa atin. O baka naman wala na. Depende sa tingin natin, no? But there is really inequality, no? Pero pag sinabi nating there is inequality, does that also mean that there is inequality in dignity? No? That's what I want to ask. No? Because all of these rights are available regardless of your nationality, sex, national or ethnic origin, color, religion, language, or any other status. No? Medyo old-fashioned pa yung definition before because it talks about sex. But right now, no, we also have that concept of gender equality, not only sex. No? Kaya nga merong term na SOGI, sexual orientation and gender identity. Why are human rights important? Why do you think are human rights important? And before you think, human rights are important for many of the activists. No? Ganun kasi yung usual na framing eh. I want you to understand that human rights is really about, nawawala, yan. It's really about the dignity of the person. Dignidad. If you are in a schooling, usually, no, you will be ranked by your skill. Pang ilang ka ba sa klase mo? No? Sa physical training, sinong unang nakatapos ng obstacle course? But when you talk of human rights, you are ranked by dignity. Dignity. When you talk of dignity, This is an exercise that I ask my class because it's really very boring to talk about human rights from a legal perspective. No? I would ask them to close their eyes, but I will not ask you to close your eyes, baka hindi dumilat yan ng isang oras, no? So I would ask them to imagine the best versions of themselves. Best versions. Walang magsasabi na gutom sila. No one would say that they are wearing tattered clothes. Oftentimes they would say, oh, I imagine myself in a resort, no? In a beach, with nature, enjoying. I'm eating good food. 'Di ba? Kasi best versions of ourselves eh. No? Walang magsasabing nai-imagine ko ang sarili ko na nakatira sa barong-barong. Nai-imagine ko yung sarili kong gutom. Wala. And then I will ask you, who among all Filipino people would not have that kind of aspiration? Lahat tayo, 'di ba? Kaya nga kayo nagtrabaho dyan eh. 'Di ba? Kaya nga rin ako sa totoo lang, that's the reason why I took up law. Noong una, sabi ko, maglo-law ako kasi gusto kong yumaman, gusto kong magpakayaman. Eh napunta ako dito sa human rights advocacy ko, no? So I am rich in some other way, but not necessarily monetary, no? Pero ayos lang, hindi ako nagugutom, no? But the question is dignity measured by how much you have in your wallet? Is dignity measured by titles? You know, that's why I said, hindi dumaan sa akin yung introduction because I rarely use attorney as a title. No, I rarely use attorney because when I go to communities, iba yung treatment eh. Pagka sinabing, ay, attorney ka ba? No? In fact, pagka nahuhuli ko pag traffic, iba rin pag nalalamang attorney. 'Di ba? It's as if you are more privileged if you have this kind of title. But there are two things that I point out, no? Number one, attorney is not a real title. Dito lang sa Pilipinas, mahilig tayo sa titles. But if you go out of the country, attorney, Mr. lang yan, o Miss. No? Sa Philippines, ang hilig nating engineer, architect, attorney, but doctor is a title. Ayan, yan, to, mga doktor natin, no? Your military and ranks, they are real titles. No? If you go out of the country, you can use those titles, no? Commander, no? Lieutenant, captain, sergeant. Yung mga pare, madre, real titles yan. But here in the Philippines, lalo na sa mga government offices nyo, no? Ang hihilig, tawagin mo akong attorney. I earned it. It just shows, no, second, how hierarchical our society is. Kailangan ba meron kang titulo para sabihin mas angat ka sa iba? Then it's as if we don't respect the dignity of people. Diba? So that's why human rights is about dignity, about respect. Dignity. Regardless of your financial status, there is dignity in everything that we do. Ibig ba sabihin, mas may dignidad ako na abogado kesa sa security guard? Ang yabang ko naman, di ba? That's not true, no? There is dignity in everything that we do. That's the reality. A second, which is a sad reality, it is us people who trample on the dignity of other people. Kasi tingin natin mas mataas tayo kaysa sa iba. Yun ang mali, no? Yun ang mali. Kaya nga ako, in my class, may one time, nahuli ako ng traffic enforcer. True story, no? Alam kong tama ako. Alam ko sinabi kong tama ako, alam ko. And then I asked my class, who between me and the traffic enforcer will win the argument? Kala nila yung abogado, no? I said, in that case, the traffic enforcer wins. No? Even if I know that the traffic enforcer is wrong. Bakit? Siya yung enforcer eh. No? So, tinikitan ako. What can I do? I can question, no, the issuance of the ticket, which I did. And I also thought twice. Sabi ko, 300, pwede kong bayaran ng GCash. Hindi sa pagmamayabang, kaya ko magbayad ng 300. Wala nang hassle. And this is at the height of the pandemic. But I chose to question the ticket, no? And before you go, ay, prinsipyo lang. Hindi lang prinsipyo. Naisip ko, yung 300, kaya kong bayaran. Pero yung mali na hinuhuli nila, na driver, jeepney driver, taxi driver, malaking bagay ang 300 pesos. And I have the privilege to question it. Why shouldn't I do something to make it right? Which I did. No? Pumunta akong MMDA, nag-file ako ng complaint, 'di ba? Nanalo ko. Ang request lang sa akin, wag ko lang filean ng administrative case yung enforcer. Sabi ko, hindi ko fa-filean. May request din ako sa kanila. Kasi nung hinuli ko ng enforcer, the enforcer told me, but this is what was taught to us. So I told the MMDA, please, teach them correctly. Because if you don't teach them correctly, then they implement the wrong laws, no? Their wrong interpretation. Who suffers? Not privileged people who can afford to pay. Who suffers? Those who are underprivileged, no? Underprivileged. So, going back to dignity, no? Bakit ko sinasabi yan? Going back to dignity, again, when we talk of human rights, the goal is to be able for us to attain, no, and have proper respect for our dignity regardless of our status. Paano ba ma-maintain ang dignity? 'Di ba? If you are a homeless person, galing kayo sa barong-barong, tingin nyo ba may dignidad yon? Yes, pwede natin silang irespeto, no? Tawaging sir, ma'am. But how do they feel about themselves? No? How do they feel about themselves? How many Filipinos would actually want to be able to have a job but could not get proper jobs in the Philippines? What will it take us now to get proper paying jobs in the Philippines? 'Di ba? You in the uniformed service, why is it, 'di ba, that there is a need to increase your salaries? Because sa totoo lang, mababa. Tama ba? Mababa, 'di ba? Mababa. Pero compared later on, realization ko habang tumatanda ako, no? Compared later on, when you retire, at least maganda retirement package in government than in the private sector, no? Mas maganda ang GSIS kesa sa SSS. But social security, you know, is part of human rights. So human rights is not just about civil and political rights. Na parati nating naririnig. What are these civil and political rights? Freedom of speech, freedom of expression, right against arrests, arbitrary arrests. Let me qualify. Right against arbitrary arrests, privacy. Human rights include economic rights. Ano yung economic rights? Labor rights. No? Pag magtrabaho ka, dapat sumeldo ka. Pag may overtime ka, dapat may overtime pay. 'Di ba? Pagka nagtrabaho ka na matagal, meron kang rest period. 'Di ba? And when we talk of labor rights, hindi nyo ba napapansin pagka labor, pagka May 1, ang sinisigaw ay paano ba tayo magkaka-living wage? 'Di ba? How many of you feel every time you get your salary, dumadaan lang pangbayad ng utang? 'Di ba? Bayad ng mga obligations. And economic right is an enabler of many rights. I tell you. Economic right. Kaya nga living wage. Ano ba yung living wage? Living wage, magkano ba ang minimum wage ngayon dito sa Metro Manila? 500 something. Nakalimutan ko kung magkano, no? 500 something a day. Okay? Wala pang 600 yata. 587. Alam nyo, sa mga estudyante ko sa Ateneo, sinasabi ko talaga sa kanila, 587 pesos a day. How much did you spend for your Starbucks coffee earlier? No? How much are you spending for your food for lunch? No? Ginaganon ko talaga sila. You see how privileged you are. 587 pesos a day for minimum wage earners. I-times 2 mo yan, mag-asawa, no? 1,160 plus, 1,170, sabihin na natin. How much do you have to pay for food, clothing, shelter, education, health? Ano na nangyari sa ating leisure? Ang leisure ba is a human right? Yes. It is part of an economic right. Kaya nga sa labor code natin, merong rest day eh. 'Di ba? At hindi bawal na mag-enjoy tayo. No? Hindi bawal magsine. Hindi bawal mag-travel. No? Because that is part of our human right. Human right, ano pa? Social rights. Okay, social right. Ano bang social right? That includes education, health, religion. Ang favorite ko nga dito, love life no? Sa social right. Love life. Because you have the right to found a family. Okay. So pagdating sa social right, pag sinabing love life, ano ba yan? Kailangan ba different sex ang kamahalan ko? Bahala na kayo doon. No, that's up to you. 'Di ba? O basta ako, I have a wife, I have children, masaya ako. Kung saan kayo masaya, merong commercial before, no? Suportahan ta ka. 'Di ba? Because that is your happiness. That is your life. 'Di ba? Sa totoo lang, of course, merong mga nag-o-oppose. Yung iba, kadiri naman yan. Teka, hindi naman ikaw ang pinipilit 'di ba? Sila yun 'Di ba? Hindi naman ikaw ang mag-aasawa. Kung ayaw mo, wag. 'Di ba? Sila yun, no? But I'm just pointing out that when we talk of these rights, it's about fulfilling their own dignity and happiness. No? Okay. Education, nasabi ko na, no? Health, ano pa ba? Cultural rights. Cultural rights. It's not only about ethnic minorities. It's not just about indigenous peoples. Intellectual property is a human right. No, kung meron kayong ginawang painting, meron kayong ginawang tula, song, these are all human rights. No, so if you think about it, if you go into our laws, I tell you, everything is about human rights. Everything. From womb to tomb. Pati mana, part yan ng human rights. Family relations are human rights. No? Kung ganun, bakit ang naririnig natin parate ay civil and political rights? No? Why do we always hear about just civil and political rights? No? Skip ko to. Ayan. Bakit civil and political rights lang? Because many people do not want to explain what human rights truly is. Pinopolitika ang human rights. It's as if human rights is only about civil and political rights. Okay? But the reality is, rumbado sila mag-drive. Nainis din ako. Pero nung height of the pandemic, to be fair, they couldn't earn. No? Wala silang kita. Wala silang kita. Who are affected? Their families. They don't have food. They don't have means for education for their children. Their health is affected. Paano kung magkasakit sila? 'Di ba? So these are what you call economic social rights. No? Affected ang economic social rights nila. What did they do? Who had the power, by the way, no, to make it better for those who are badly affected? I'll give you a guess, no? Gobyerno. 'Di ba? Government has that power to be able to make it better for them. Hindi ko sinasabing government will provide everything. In fact, 'di ba, ang nangyari nga, nagbigay ng ayuda ang gobyerno natin, 'di ba? Whether it is the national government or the local government. But how did these jeepney drivers made their concerns heard by the government? Anong ginawa nila? Nabalitaan nyo ba? Nagrally sila. Nagrally sila because they were hungry, because they were badly affected. Rally is the right to peaceably assemble. That is a civil and political right. And that's why I'm showing you how they are interrelated. Pag gutom ka, you want those who are in power to hear what is happening. Parang yung grievance mechanism eh. Sa labor nga, 'di ba? Kaya nga merong right to strike. No? That's part of the civil and political rights of laborers. 'Di ba? Because it is rooted on the economic and social rights. And I showed you, no? I told you, pag wala kang kita, ang daming apektado niyan. No? Your food, your clothing, your health, education. No? Affected lahat 'yan. Kaya nga yung mga laborers natin, pag May 1, nagrarally sila because they want a living wage. No? So I just want you to realize how rights are indivisible and interrelated. Human rights, pinag-usapan natin kanina, universal, pare-pareho, all over the world. You might think, why is it that in the Philippines it seems that we have more rights than those in North Korea or Myanmar? The answer is, it's not that we have more rights. The answer is, their governments are restrictive. No? Karapatan natin eh. And that's the reason why many of us, no, would like to have more freedoms because there are freedoms that we are entitled to, but we are not allowed to enjoy it by restrictive governments. No, I'm not talking about our government, no? Although merong mga struggles, but those who have the power would like to restrict it as much as possible. At least dito nga sa Pilipinas, kahit nasabihin yung imperfect ang ating elections, we still have a democratic system. Diba? But we still need to improve that. Hala, papasayaw na tayo. Ayan. Oh, baka mas ma-excite kayo doon, ha? Okay, human rights, I mentioned earlier, are inherent in all of us, no? Basta we are born, we already have these rights. In fact, in our Constitution, I also point out, the right of the unborn child is protected. Hindi pa ka pa nga napapanganak, protektado na yung buhay, no, of the unborn child. O pagtanungin nyo, kailan ba nag-uumpisa maprotektahan? Kasi wala tayong, remember, we don't have abortion laws in the Philippines. Is it possible to have an abortion law in the Philippines? I'll tell you, with the current legal structure, it's impossible, no? To have what you call abortion that is, ano nga tawag, medical term, yung hindi selective, yung you want an abortion, ano nga yung term doon, versus the emergency abortion, no? Oo, ano nga ang tawag doon pag choice, elective. Nadagdagan ko ng S sa harap, mali. Elective, no? Elective abortion. Yung ayaw mo lang yung pregnancy, papa-abort mo. Mahirap yun with our legal framework at the moment, no? But I tell you, from our experience, when my wife was giving birth, the doctor really talked to me, no? Kasi there was a bit of baka magka-complication. Tinanong na ako right before, between the baby and the wife, no? If given a choice, who would you want to save? Hirap na tanong nun, no? Pero sabi ng doktor, usually, no, we would say the mother. So in short, the child would have to be aborted. Diba? And that is emergency abortion. I'm pointing out that hindi naman bawal yung ganon sa Pilipinas. Ang bawal ay elective. Diba? Bakit hindi yan magfa-fly ang elective abortion law sa Philippines? Kasi sa ating constitution, yung nag-draft ng ating constitution, and merong kaso dito, no? Imbong versus Ochoa on reproductive health. When does life begin in the Philippines? Legally, no? Sabi ng constitutional commissioners natin, from the moment the sperm implants itself on the egg. No? From the moment of implantation. So pagka dumikit yung sperm dun sa egg cell, there is already life according to law. No? According to law, no? Jurisprudence 'yan. Okay? That's why in our jurisdiction, abortifacients, no, yung mga morning after pills, they are illegal, no? Pero artificial contraceptives are okay, no? Kasi it prevents the implantation. So I just want to point out how inherent even for the right of the unborn. And human rights are inalienable. Pag sinabi nating inalienable, you don't sell it, you don't buy it. If you don't use it, you don't lose it. No? Ganon ang human rights. Alam nyo ba, in our laws for unregistered land, for example, unregistered land, to be clarified, kasi baka may torrents, baka may TCT, hindi applicable to sa mga may TCT. Pag unregistered land, if you occupy the unregistered land in good faith, in 10 years, makaklaim mo yun. If you are in bad faith, alam mo merong ibang may-ari pero unregistered, pero you stayed there for 30 years, mapupunta sa iyo yun. Yun ang tawag ay prescription. No? So meaning, human rights, if you don't use it for a long time, you don't speak your opinion, you don't lose your right to speak your opinion. No? So these are how human rights are. The question is, pakibalik. Ayaw. Pakibalik po. Back. Yan. Question is, who has the duty? Who has the duty and responsibility to promote and protect human rights? Who has the duty? Oftentimes, when I give a discussion on human rights among our uniformed personnel, I would always have this kind of question. Baka narinig nyo na to. Sir, bakit pagka merong kaming nakitang rebelde, and this is not in an armed conflict situation, walang encounter, may nakita kaming rebelde, tumatawid, binanata namin, patay. Bakit po ang tawag doon ay human rights violation? Bakit ho pagbaliktad, kami ang naglalakad lang, kami ang binarel, kami ang pinatay, bakit po ang tawag ay, baka alam nyo, all right. Sabi ko, ang witty, no? All right. No? Ang witty. Bakit? And I would like to explain that to all of you so that hindi nyo damdamin, no? Kapag sinasabing human rights violation, bakit parang ang dating bakit gobyerno lang, no? Bakit hindi yung iba? Bakit hindi yung rebelde? No? Because definitely rebels, no? When they kill, when they put landmines, no? These are all, aside from violations of international humanitarian law, these are definitely, so to speak, human rights violations, right? But I want you to understand that the primary responsibility to promote and protect human rights lie with the state, with the government. Bakit gobyerno? Bakit gobyerno? Mamaya, I will go through the different human rights treaties. Alam nyo, sa UN, it is only the government which has a personality before the United Nations. No? So the Philippine government has the personality in the UN. The NPA, wala silang personality doon. MILF, no personality. MNLF, no personality. Abu Sayyaf, lalo na. Terrorist, kidnap for ransom group lang kayo. Diba? But I'm using NPA, MNLF, MILF. Why? Because we have peace talks with them, right? It means that they are being recognized. Tama, di ba? They are being recognized domestically. No? Wag yung Abu Sayyaf, ha? Yung Abu Sayyaf, panggulo yan, ha? No? Hindi natin pinapansin yan, no? It's a kidnap for ransom group. No? But those who we see, at least, no, from the Philippine government perspective, that have their own advocacies, we recognize them domestically. I won't go into the peace talks. I just want you to understand that even if we recognize them domestically, internationally, they are nobody. They are not at the same level of as the government. They are far from the level of the government. Ano ba yung pwedeng pinakamalapit under international law? Belligerent. They are not even recognized as a belligerent. Okay? So I want you to understand, under international law, it is only the Philippine government that is recognized. That is the Philippine state. Okay? And it is only the Philippines that can enter into a covenant or convention or treaty. No? So, Pilipinas lang ang pwedeng pumasok dun sa mga treaties na papakita ko sa inyo mamaya. So, ibig sabihin, pag merong nag-violate nung treaty na yon, Pilipinas lang. Pilipinas lang. That is the concept of an alleged human rights violation. Because the Philippine government, through you, no, not necessarily kayo mismo personally, no? Kasi remember, the Philippine government is not a person, it is an artificial person. But it can only act through you, government officials and representatives. So that's why if you do not do your duty according to law, it reflects on the Philippine government. That's why it is very important, no, for you to understand, no, that is technically what is meant by a human rights violation. But don't get me wrong, ha? Don't get me wrong. Individual persons, groups, NGOs, we all have responsibilities. Pero hindi kami dun sa international level. Yung responsibilidad na yan, no, is based on domestic law. So for example, kapag yung rebelde ng torture, mananagot sila with the domestic law, hindi sa international law. No? It's only the Philippine government who is subject to the standard of the international law. No? But the Philippines, as a government, has to adopt laws para yung mga rebelde maparusahan under our domestic system. Clear so far? Clear ba? Parang mas lalo kayong inantok, ha? Okay. Next, please. Okay. Tinitignan ko yung time, bibilisan ko na ha. I just wanted to let that sink into you kasi pinakamahirap maintindihan ay yung concept of human rights, no? Alam nyo, I started that rights are inherent. Meron tayong mga karapatan. For us to enjoy it, we have the right, but for us to enjoy it, at times, those in power do not let us enjoy it. That is the reality before, no? Dati naman kasi hindi naman dapat nakasulat yung mga karapatan natin eh. No? Because it is inherent in all of us. We already have it. But why does it have to be written in law? You know, one thing I learned when I went to law school is that our Bill of Rights, sa Constitution natin, Article 3, Bill of Rights, if you remove the Bill of Rights, we still enjoy the rights that are there. Pero tanungin nyo, bakit nandyan yung Bill of Rights? The Bill of Rights is there in our Constitution as a reminder to our government that the expansive power of the government is limited by these rights of the people. No? Kaya lang civil and political rights lang yung Bill of Rights eh. Kaya oftentimes akala yun na yung buong human rights. No? Pero kalahati lang yan ng human rights. Okay? So what happened? Bibilisan ko lang yung kwentong to, no? You know, World War I happened. After World War I, may nabuong organisasyon. Anong tawag doon? League of Nations. Very good, League of Nations. Pumalpak ang League of Nations. Bakit? Nagka-World War II eh. No? After World War II, binuo ang United Nations in 1945. Up to now, no? Awa ng Diyos, up to now, wala pa tayong World War III. So far, we are surviving. But it doesn't mean there's no conflict happening all over. Diba? There is. Ukraine, Russia, in the Middle East, no? Maraming gulo. But it is surviving somehow. What made the United Nations different from the League of Nations? Okay? If you look at the Charter of the United Nations, the difference is they recognized the human rights, no, as one of the foundations. O pag sabi ngayon ng mga bansa noon, teka, human rights, what does it actually mean? No? Kasi iba-iba silang political background, no? Merong mga democratic states, merong socialist, may communist, may monarchy. So in 1948, they codified human rights. This is what is now known as the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. No? Codification of human rights. Yan ang buong human rights natin. Civil, political, economic, social, cultural. No? The only difference is, and this is where politika ng mga estado, under international law, a declaration is not binding. Hindi binding. Hindi siya isang treaty. Hindi siya isang convention. Meaning, kapag pumirma ka dyan, your obligation is not to violate it, but you do not have an obligation to implement it. Magkaiba yun, ha? Merong obligation not to violate, but there is no obligation to implement. In order for there to be an obligation to implement, then it must be in a binding instrument. Dapat nasa isang treaty. So yung Universal Declaration of Human Rights, buong buo, civil, political, economic, social, cultural rights, what did the states do? They split it. They split it. Remember, interdependent, interrelated. Split it nila. Next please, dalawang click. Isa pa. How did they split it? Oh, ito na yung politika ng mga estado. Sabi ng mga Western countries, yung mga medyo kasing tanda namin dito, maaalala nyo yung Cold War. No? Tapos ng World War II, there is the Cold War. The Cold War between the US and the USSR. Oo. Oo. Ayan, parang si Gorbachev tong... Oo. Anyway, ano yung Cold War? No? Sabi ng mga Western countries, hindi, mas importante ang civil and political rights. So from a non-binding instrument, we now have a convention, a treaty on civil and political rights. Sabi naman ng mga socialist, ng mga communist, wala yung mga freedom na yan. Mas importante ang labor rights, education, health, no? Dito tayo, ginawa nila yung International Covenant on Economic and Social Cultural Rights. Treaty means it's binding. You need to implement it. So that's the politicization of human rights. Tayo, na mga tao, di ba? We need both rights to be guaranteed by our governments. No? So that is the politicization. I just wanted to show you how that these are the standards. Under international law, ito ang dalawang treaties natin. The Philippines is a state party to both. No? Partido ang Pilipinas dyan. Kailangang i-implement ng Philippines yan. Next please. I will not explain this one by one, but I just want to point out that these are the thematic human rights treaties. Thematic human rights treaties. Hindi po lahat ng may kinalaman sa human rights ay human rights treaties. No? Ito ang tinatawag nating international human rights law. What are these? International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination. So to speak, discrimination based on, for example, race, color. Next is Convention on the Rights of the Child. I don't think I need to say more. Merong Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination against Women. No? So today actually is the start of the 18-day campaign to end violence against women. And violence against women is discrimination against women. No? Pag naisip nyo, bakit ba merong anti-vowsy law? Violence against women and their children. Parate marami akong mga kabarong mga lalaking pilosopo. Bakit? Kami bang mga lalaki? Hindi ba kami na-abuse ng mga babae? Oh, itong si Butch mukhang gusto magpa-abuse. Oh, kita mo. Ayan. So, sa totoo, no? So sa totoo, pag ganyan, no? May kaso rin tayo dyan sa Supreme Court. It shows that we are still very much really a patriarchal society. No? When you talk about violence against women, it's about power. Sa totoo lang, yung mga lalaki dito, no? Ilang beses yung titignan mo muna, bubugbugin ko ba tong lalaking malaking to? Baka mabugbog ako nito no? Kung katabi ko si Butch, mag-iisip pa kung papatulang ko ba to? Teka, kaya ko ba to? 'Di ba? But in domestic relationships, no, the fact that you commit violence against your partner means that it is a play of power. No, because otherwise you should not be committing violence anywhere. 'Di ba? Kaya siya discrimination against women. We have the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. Next, please. We have the International Convention on the Protection of the Rights of All Migrant Workers and their Families. International Convention for all persons, for the protection of all persons from enforced disappearances. And the Convention Against Torture and Other Cruel, Inhuman, Degrading Treatment or Punishment. Lahat po yan lang po ang tinatawag nating international human rights law. So under international law, kapag at lahat po to except the one on enforced disappearance, state party po ang Pilipinas, no? Except the one on enforced disappearance. State party ang Pilipinas. But wait, no? Pag sabihin nyo, bakit yung enforced disappearance? We have a domestic law against enforced disappearance. Ibig lang sabihin itong mga ibang conventions na yan, meron tayong reporting requirement sa UN. kapag hindi tayo nag-fulfill ng obligation natin, ano nga ba yung mga obligation dito? Next slide please. What does it mean to be a state party? Ito, kaya nagiging human rights violation yung Estado. Because there are what you call the threefold obligations of the state. First is the obligation to respect. What does it mean? The state itself must not be the first one to violate human rights law. 'Di ba? For example, no, law enforcement, nahuli nyo, no? Nakikita natin minsan pag nahuhuli ng taong bayan, kinukuyog. Pero kung law enforcer na, no, pagdating sa kulungan, wag mong sipa-sipain, wag mong bugbugin. Why? Because you are violating the obligation of the state to respect. Remember, you are the implementer of the state. No? So that it's what it means, no? To violate the obligation to respect. Obligation to protect. Remember that you are representatives of the state. But what if a person who is a non-state representative, like me, I am a civilian, no? What if I kill someone? I took the right to life of another person. And that is the reason why there is a revised penal code. That's why we have courts, di ba? Kasi the state is obligated to protect the people by having mechanisms of redress. No? So that's why, kunyari, yung kumpanya, hindi nagbabayad ng tama, it's against labor rights. That's why we have the DOLE. That's why we have the National Labor Relations Commission. No? That's part of the protection mechanism for violations of human rights by non-state actors. And what if there is ang tinatawag natin vacuum, kakulangan? This is where the state has an obligation to fulfill, no? To fulfill that vacuum. Okay? So, yan po ang threefold state obligation. That is what is meant when the state is said to violate its human rights obligation because it fails to implement one, two, or all of these obligations. Okay, malinaw po so far? Okay, so again, yung technical meaning, wag sumama ang loob, no? Kasi yan ang ibig sabihin noon, no? Pag sinabing human rights violation. Okay, next. Malapit na. Again, when I was thinking, how will I lecture this to you? No, I wanted you to understand that whole legal framework first. No? Why? Because sabi nga kanina ni Reg dun sa introduction, no? So that you will all be grounded. Napaisip ako, paano magiging grounded nasa sea? No? Walang ground dun. Okay. Do human rights apply at sea? Yes, definitely, no? Human rights apply at sea just as they do on land. Pareho, no? Walang pinipili. International human rights law recognizes the inherent dignity and equal rights of all individuals regardless of the location. However, eto pakinggan natin, no? However, the application of these rights at sea can be complex due to jurisdictional and practical challenges, such as the application of certain legal frameworks. Okay? Una, yung diniscuss kung Universal Declaration of Human Rights, they all apply, no? Kasi it's universal eh. They all apply. Pangalawa, no? Paano naman yung mga treaties? Paano yung mga treaties? Okay, it depends, no? So for example, for the Philippines, sabi ko, all except the one on enforced disappearance applicable sa Pilipinas. Paano kung kunyari nandun ka sa high sea? No? What will apply? Or what if you are apprehending someone, it provides the framework for maritime governance, including obligations to render assistance to persons in distress at sea. And then last, international maritime law, which includes conventions such as the International Maritime Organization's Safety of Life at Sea. Kanina na-mention ni Doc Butch yun, no? Yung SOLAS Convention, which outlines the duty to protect life at sea. Okay, next please. Ayan pala, sorry, meron pala akong slide para makita nyo yung legal frameworks that you have to think of, no, when you're talking of human rights at sea. Next please. What is the role of the Philippine Coast Guard? I focused on the Philippine Coast Guard simply because the whole program is with the Philippine Coast Guard, no, but definitely an interagency cooperation is needed. I'll emphasize later. And when I looked at the role of the Philippine Coast Guard, next slide please, no, at least again from my limited understanding, this is my, again kayo po ang expert dito, kayo ang mga nasa Coast Guard, no? But this is what I thought of, how would you now apply that framework in the work that you do? For example, in search and rescue, you are responsible for conducting search and rescue operations to save lives and property at sea. Second, during maritime safety and security, you ensure the safety of navigation, oversees the operation of vessels within Philippine waters, and enforces regulations to prevent maritime accidents. Law enforcement. The PCG enforces maritime laws including anti-piracy, anti-smuggling, anti-illegal fishing. You play a role in combating human trafficking and other maritime-related crimes. Environmental protection. You protect the marine environment by enforcing laws against illegal dumping, oil spills, other forms of environmental damage. You also protect the preservation of marine biodiversity. Maritime trade and transport, coastal and maritime surveillance, and then lastly, national defense and security in coordination with the armed forces of the Philippines to protect the country's maritime borders. No? Next slide, please. Okay, patapos na po. This is my second to the last slide. How does human rights intersect with maritime? Food for thought. No? Kasi hindi ko po talaga madadaanan lahat to in 1 hour. No? Tutulugan nyo na ako. Next. So, ito yung intersection, seafarers' rights. No? So, part of your mandate. Seafarers often working under difficult and dangerous conditions are afforded protection under both maritime law and international human rights frameworks. For example, under ILO, International Labor Organization, merong Maritime Labor Convention, no, that sets out standards for fair wages, working conditions, health and safety, and right to trade unions. Second, human trafficking and forced labor. Merong intersection yung maritime at human rights because you need to address human trafficking and forced labor on ships. For example, there is the United Nations Protocol to prevent, suppress, and punish trafficking in persons. And there are various international labor organization conventions targeting the exploitation of people, including those trafficked for forced labor on vessels. Refugee and migrants, we have, as mentioned earlier, meron tayong UNCLOS which intersects with human rights law when it comes to the treatment of migrants and refugees trying to cross the sea. International maritime law mandates that ships must assist persons in distress at sea irrespective of their nationality of legal status, protecting their right to life. Just to point out, ang Refugee Convention po, no? Meron tayong Convention on Refugees, Although it is human rights related, technically speaking, it is not under international human rights law, no? But they are related. No? I know it could be confusing, no? But I just wanted to show you, at times this is the reason why it can be confusing, no? The overlap of all these different laws. Environmental protection and human rights, the environmental impact of maritime activities such as pollution from shipping or deep sea mining can threaten the human rights of individuals, particularly in coastal communities or small island states. International conventions like the International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships, or MARPOL, aim to prevent environmental degradation that could infringe on the right to a healthy environment. Lastly, piracy and armed conflict. The legal framework around piracy and armed conflict at sea also involves human rights protections. So victims of piracy face not only physical danger, but also violations of their fundamental human rights, including life, liberty, and security. Okay? So overall, the intersection of maritime law and human rights seek to balance the needs of international trade and maritime safety. So next, let me close. Next, please. Let me close by saying, however, that human rights promotion, protection, and enforcement at sea can also become complicated due to some jurisdictional ambiguities, such as issues when determining which state laws apply, particularly in international waters or in cases involving ships flying flags of convenience, coupled with difficulties in monitoring and holding violators accountable. This is the reason why continuous efforts to strengthen human rights at sea are important, such as, number one, interagency arrangements. No? Kaya iba-ibang agencies kayo dito. Number two, dialogue with advocacy groups, since NGOs and CSOs can highlight abuses and these can advocate for stronger protections. Number three, regional arrangements with our neighboring states. That's why in ASEAN, di ba, meron tayo mga regional arrangements. And lastly, capacity building, such as these discussions, to have more intensive trainings for maritime authorities and stakeholders to recognize and address human rights violations at sea. With that, I thank you for your kind attention. Maraming salamat po.